So, we all know that DC Studios is opening their brand new cinematic universe next month with Superman, coming out in theaters in less than a month. Now, here's the catch. A lot of people will say, technically Creature Commandos, that's kind of like a soft entry. Superman's the proper introduction. It's the main course. It's, Creature Commandos is the entree. This is your main course, right? And that's the main entrance into this new cinematic universe that's run by DC Studios, co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran. And apparently the whole concept of this universe is it's meant to be crossing over with film, television, live action, animation, and gaming. And we know a couple of things coming out. We know that there's going to be post-Superman. We got Peacemaker coming out in August, and then next year we know about Clayface, we know about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and we also know about Lanterns, which will be a HBO live-action series. But everyone's like, what else? What else is what's in the pipeline? What's in the pipeline? Sure, there's if you're an animation person, yeah, you got the Manic Duo, but that's coming out in 2028. What's something now? You need something now! Something in your veins right now if you're an animation junkie. And if you're into adult animation, stories that have a little more edge, deals with a mature subject matter, this might have your interest. And that is, they're making a Mr. Miracle animated series. Let me read this from Variety, which reads, Mr. Miracle, which says, Mr. Miracle series gets green light at Warner Bros. Animation at DC Studios. This is their little animated little screenshot they did, which I like, even like the little logo there. I like the art style, feels very old school. And I'll give my thoughts on the idea of what story they're adapting. If you know, you know. But anyway, it reads, from Anti Animation Festival today, Warner Bros. Animation and DC Studios reveal a brand new adult animated series titled Mr. Miracle, based on the acclaimed 12 issue comic book series by Tom King and art by Mitch Gandis. Gandis, I'm probably butchering his last name, I apologize. King, who co-created the original comic book series, will serve as a executive producer and showrunner, which makes sense because, let me pause here, makes sense because he is, his Supergirl, the Supergirl movie is based on his 8-issue comic book series about Supergirl, and he's one of the showrunners on the Green Lantern show. So I wouldn't be shocked that this isn't going, Supergirl and Mr. Miracle ain't the last thing that is based on his work is going to get adapted. I wouldn't be shocked we're going to get Rorschach, we're going to get Human Target, Strange Adventures. But they just announced a Wonder Woman. They're writing a Wonder Woman movie. They just have someone writing the script right now, slowly, but they're writing the script right now as we speak. I wouldn't be shocked it's based on his current Wonder Woman one. I wouldn't be shocked. Bring on Trinity, all we know. The truth or lies, all that type of stuff. So, it's a whole. Look, Tom King in the comic book community, you love him or hate him. He's one of those writers. So it'll be kind of interesting to see people's reactions to this news, saying his stories are the ones getting adapted, which I love. I love that these stories getting adapted into another medium, so people who don't read comics get a chance to experience these stories as well. That's why I also quite enjoy the DC animated films, because you get to have people experience Red Sun, or experience Dark Knight Returns, or New Frontier, or whatever. But even a version of it, sometimes a little bit too faithful, Jewish contract, but it's yeah, you take that as that. And I like how doing that for Supergirl. Now they're doing it for Mr. Miracle. I love the idea of it. But let's read on, shall we? It's Yep, here we go. Sorry, yeah, something happened. The network or platform that will carry the show has not yet been announced. It'll be HBO Max. Let's not kid ourselves. But the studio will say they will share more info about during their adult animation theme showcase on Friday. So we'll find out in a couple of days. My guess. Maybe a release date for this, because if you're showing art right now, that means you pretty much made up your mind that you're making this. If I'm seeing this, I wouldn't be shocked we're getting this maybe 2026, maybe 2027, at some point in the next 2 years, if we're getting like this, full on storyboards and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, if you don't know what Mr. Miracle is about, it says Miss Miracle marks the second adult animation series from Warner Bros. Animation and DC Studios since the latter was launched by bosses James Gunn and Peter Safran in 2022. It comes following the success of Critical Commandos, which is currently in production for a second season on HBO Max. On other recent animated projects in the pipelines include Starfire, yeah, the My Adventures of Superman spin-off, My Adventures with Green Lantern, which will be a Jessica Cruz-led story, which is great because, we're getting Guy Gardner in the Superman movie, we're getting Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in the Green Lantern TV show, and now we're getting Jessica Cruz. So if your favorite Green Lantern isn't yet featured, don't worry, they're in the pipeline. And of course, My Adventures of Green Lantern is an Elseworlds thing anyway, so, take that as you will. And DC Superpowers, which sounds like, if I had to guess, that's going to be the more aim for a more younger audience. Okay, now here's the point if you don't know what the 12-issue series is about. The series follows Stop Free, known worldwide as Mr. Miracle, the greatest escape artist who has ever lived, with his wife Big Barda. Once again, her. This is Big Barda. Anyway, just want to put something like. Anyway, Stop seems to be Stop seems to have built the perfect life on Earth, until everything began to unveil. A war against between the planet's apocalypse and New Genesis. Stark's adopted father, Darkseid, which is a big deal. Darkseid's a big. He's one of the big guys. He's a big. Darkseid he's one of the big bads. Has apparently inhabited the anti-life equation, a divine force capable of dominating the universe. With kindness exuding on both sides, Mr. Miracle becomes the last hope to end the conflict to restore peace. But the power of the end-of-life equation that might have always been affecting Stark's mind, assaulting his ability and threatening the happiness he shares with Barter. And has more to comments on Friday, and so stay tuned on coverage on the event. So we'll find out a little bit more about this, probably a little bit. I'd be interested if we know about voice casts and all that kind of stuff. But this is a very acclaimed. I actually immediately checked how much it is because I haven't read Miss Miracle. I just know it's a story that everybody is like, "We Mr. Miracle is so good." It's that kind of story, right? It's just like Mr. Miracle is a character I haven't really known or like maybe seen him and stuff. It's just but I just know a lot of people are quite crazy about the character and they're crazy about the 12-issue series and how it's dealing with stories. It's dealing with stuff like depression and essentially depression and suicidal thoughts and a very dark and very adult subject matter. Now, as I said, I love this. You know, you let more people experience these stories who maybe never will pick it up. I'll probably now start reading it. Probably will at least read. I think it's like 33 bucks for the trade paperback. I might see if a local library has it. Um, but to say, hey, I read it, I can say how true it is or not. But yeah, it just feels a lot of sense, having like this work. If it's so acclaimed and it's one of those like so well written and it's all let other people see it. Um, and once I wouldn't be shocked that we find out about voice cast. I wouldn't be shocked that we find out about maybe release dates and stuff like that. Where it's gonna be on HBO, HBO. But a lot of people always say not HBO because Batman Cape Crusade is on Amazon. It's an Amazon show, so you never know. It might be on Disney, or we know. But yeah, this is really. I look. It's DC. I'm going to check it out, and I always did enjoy the DC animated films. Clearly, that era has gone. It ended with Watchmen Part 2. So chapter 2, so and that, but yeah, I don't know about you guys, like if you follow the anime stuff, I honestly will recommend you guys to check it out, just because even me who hasn't read the source material, and also Big Barba, she's like, I'm trying to remember, like she's like the warrior for like Darkseid's army or something that isn't the Parademons. Yeah, it ain't those, but like if you like the guards, she's like the leader of Darkseid's guards. She's also an Amazon and like all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of layers to it as well. I think the only exposure I have with her is Superman Batman Apocalypse, which is a animated film. So a lot of people may say like, hey, pick there's this issue, this issue, this issue. You want to get a little bit more sense of who she is, but yeah, I mean, look, Superman's I'm getting hyped for. Chris Commando was good, was pretty solid. Yeah, at this point, let's see how this DC universe shapes up. I will 100% believe this is not going to be an Elseworld story. This will be set in the same universe as Superman, as Critical Commandos, as Clayface, as Lanterns. Just because when you're dealing with stuff like Darkseid, you don't want to be that person that says, yeah, what happened with Darkseid is not canon. So, yeah. Anyway, comment below, let me hear your thoughts.